Zoltan, you look like you're in some Roman bathhouse there. Where are you?
Yeah, I'm home.
Well, it's good to see you, Zol, man. It's been a while.
Yeah,
So how you been, dude? I mean, obviously you're always a busy person from your jujitsu to just,
right,
personal life stuff to obviously the
right,
band that
right.
is, killing it. But how you been?
Like busy.
Yeah, yeah.
Just,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
said, right? A lot's going on, right? It's one of those things, man. Like when you have the opportunity, right,
Hmm.
to do things, that's when you step on the pedal, man. Pedal to the metal. It's once your foot in any door, that's when you go. People think that, man, I got a record till I made it. No, man, that's when the work starts. You know.
Sure. Sure. And for you guys being on the road with, Metallica, that's gotta be obviously such a massive thing too. But you get the
Yeah.
breaks in between, yeah, where you get to go home and shut down, or when you're at home, are you five finger all the time? Or like, you know what I mean? What's kind of your dailies looking
So,
like these
oh
days?
man, my daily. So I mean, I have a lot of different, different verticals. I have a bunch of different companies. To me,
Mm,
it's fun, right? Obviously, the main line always gonna be the band. This is what I
sure.
wanted to do since I was a tiny little,
Hmm.
a tiny little kid. But beside that, I have so many other interests, and basically the structure of things is sort of the same. Everything aligns to these universal patterns. It's kind of doesn't matter that if you're running a band or creating music, right? There are patterns, and there are very much a lot of similarities between, let's say, running another business, right? In essence, it's kind of the same. Everything aligns to the same patterns,
Sure.
and I love the chess game, man. I just love creating things. I love to play the game, and so keep myself busy.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, you guys got this deluxe edition coming out 1 week from today.
Yeah.
You and I are laying this down a week before it's
Uh-huh.
dropped, but you got this deluxe edition coming out on the 5th of April. Tell me about the idea of putting that thing together, putting these extra tracks with it, and the big one that we'll talk about here in a sec. Go for it.
So yeah, so basically, like the previous record too, like these last two were my favorites. I mean, like it's hard to pick favorites, but it was really fun to make. Especially this last one was really fun to make,
Sure.
and I felt like it didn't come out in the best possible time. There's a lot of chaos in the world, right? And when you drop, it's the same thing with movies. If you drop a movie and something else happened in news, then your movie is being ignored, right?
Sure.
That's why
Yeah.
right? So that's why people actually switching to TV shows, because then you have many chances instead of one, right? And
Yeah.
so that's kind of a thing. And I think in the recording industry is also gonna go there, that people stop putting out albums and start putting out songs or batches of songs.
I think you told me that years ago, dude. I think you were
Yeah,
kind of on that wavelength a while ago.
yeah. Like so, I've been talking about it for years because
Hmm.
because there's so much noise in the world, and there's so much media is coming at you now that it's to be heard is difficult, right?
Yeah.
And so this record, that the latest record, was so fun to make, and it kind of came out in the middle of the chaos, and I felt like it didn't really get its fair share of attention.
Mm.
And then there were other versions of some songs that we were thinking about putting out anyway, and and then we have a big one that you mentioned. There's a
Hmm.
big one that we had it. So the song was recorded. We could have put it on an album. The last album could have had this song already, but man, there was so much work, so much red tape, so much legalities involved to do this song that it just took us forever. And so it didn't make the record. So by the time legally everybody cleared and everybody signed off on it, like, okay, you guys can put this out, almost a year passed.
Ah, yeah.
See what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, I get it.
So kind of we were like, okay, let's re-release the record. Let's make a deluxe version where we can put this song that originally belonged to this record, and then all those other stuff, like with a couple of acoustic versions of songs, you know. And I thought, okay, then let's package this and let's release it how it was meant to be with that song.
That's exciting, man. So, Afterlife, the ninth album from the band, and
Mhm.
you're decided it didn't get its due, so let's rework it a little bit. Let's do some acoustic stuff. Obviously, I know one of the songs that's going to be on there is Judgment Day, and that's out
Yes,
there on YouTube already, the acoustic version,
right.
which is
Mhm.
fantastic. How did you pick the songs that are like, let's make these acoustic? Was it just you felt the vibe already, or you'd already worked those out, or
So some of those songs, when you write songs, some of them actually starts acoustic, right?
oh,
Like I'm
sure.
messing around with the guitar, or I'm messing around with the guitar. Me and Andy were jamming around on things, and then we build it into that punch sound.
Hmm.
And And so we built the song up, and then we recorded how it would be a rock, heavy metal rock album kind of, right?
Sure.
But then we remember, like, man, it sounded pretty good when we were just sort of working it out on acoustic guitar. Let's go back and do that too, you know? So many times it happens because it's just easy to pick up an acoustic guitar. When you have an idea, right? And an acoustic guitar is right there. You just pick it up and let's go. Versus, okay, I have to turn on the amps, get your sounds, and you know what I mean? It's just kind of quicker, easier. So that's why a lot of these songs actually start with just acoustic guitars. And then, you know, and obviously we remembered that, man, that sounded pretty good with the acoustic guitars.
Okay.
Let's grab that too, you know?
Okay. Well, that's cool. That's awesome. And then the track we're kind of dancing around a little bit. Let's talk about it. This is the way with DMX. I mean, a legend, DMX and Five Finger Death Punch. That's a hell of a connection, dude. That combo is rad. So how did that come to be?
So the connection is interesting because it's, you know, when somebody looks at it from the outside, you wouldn't know what the real connection is and how this really came about, and you know, how this whole thing happened. So we wanted to work with DMX for a long time. This conversation been for years and years and years, right? Like, if you remember, we made Mama Said Knock You Out. We remade that song. You know, Tech Nine was on that song. So so the connection with us and other genres being there. We did some collaboration with country artists. You know, it's. I always looked at music. My taste, Ivan's taste, is really eclectic. Right, we listen to a lot of things that you would not think that we're listening to.
For sure. I know that well. Yeah, for sure.
Right. So and hip hop was for me, you know, one of my favorite records came out, I think, 92, Tronics, Dr. Dre. Right. I was listening to a lot, or from the New York. Remember this band called Gravediggers? It was.
I do remember that. Yeah.
New York. The record came out somewhere in the mid 90s, right? And then RZA came out of that one. You know. So I'm listening to that stuff, right? And DMX was one of my favorite artists.
Sure.
It's because to me, DMX is sort of the heavy metal guy within the hip hop community. Like, he has this, the voice, the dog bark, you know, the whole thing. Raw, you know.
Yeah,
So
he's tough.
Right. And you know, there are a lot of other guys, like I love Busta Rhymes, and there's so many. But you know, I'm in this lane. We are a heavy metal band, but I still listen to that stuff. So anyway, so the DMX conversation was going on for years, and he was not available for various reasons. I'm not gonna say why. He was not available, right?
Okay.
So we couldn't work with him, and then this conversation was just lingering on, but it's been around for about 5 years, and then we actually started a convo, not with him personally, but some of his people, and then unfortunately DMX passed.
Right.
And then it came to the point about, well, is there still a way to do something, you know? And there was a track that we could. I mean, there was a lot of legalities, a lot of producers involved. So,
of course.
We talked to everyone. We talked to the estate. We talked to everybody. And, you know, some of the producers, obviously, of the people, Universal Record and various publishers. So it was an uphill battle, but we really wanted it.
Sure.
And then we figured out a way to do it. So this happened. But a conversation started about 5, maybe 6 years ago. Okay. And the song itself, once we recorded it still took about a year to clear it from everybody.
Oh, of course.
Because, you know, hip hop works a little bit different because in generally rock bands write their own stuff and that's it. But, you know, when you have various producers, sometimes multiple producers involved, and that means multiple publishers are involved. And it's not that simple to clear something, you know?
Sure.
So that's, with collaborations, that's always a thing, that it's there are so many people are involved, and it's the legalities of that are difficult. This is the other side of the music industry the fans probably don't want to hear, but, you know, this is how it works.
Totally. And, so that song though, when you guys got in the studio, you had that raw DMX tracks. Like, did it come together pretty fast, or? What the development, because I heard it earlier today. I mean, you're listening to this song and it's definitely got the death punch to it, but DMX is prevalent, it's loud, and it makes you bop, man. It's definitely got a great feel to it. So how did your part and the DMX part come together in the studio? Was it real natural?
Yes, but you know, it's something like you have to respect what it is, right? So we wanted to make sure that it's respectful to him, respectful to his life and his legacy. And it's not just, obviously everybody gonna hear this song. You're gonna see it's not like some backup tracks. No. This is a real feature. This is a real, it's a real mixture of Dat Punch and DMX. So when DMX is on, it is DMX. There's no mistake.
Mm-hmm. It's not AI. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, and so yes, but because his voice and his delivery, it's natural. That's what I meant. Like he was kind of like, to me, the metal head of hip hop, right? Because he already sounds like that. Right? So it was, from that perspective, it was fairly easy because his voice and his delivery kind of gives itself to that style. But when the song switches to his parts, obviously we kind of tone it down. So we give the space for his voice to perform and his voice to be the prominent of a part of the song, obviously.
How did you work out the music video? Because I hear you guys are releasing a music video on the same day.
Yes.
The deluxe digital download is available next Friday on April 5 there. How did you guys, come up with that treatment for the video?
So in the process of us finishing the song, and as I said, Bathory took a lot of legalities, but once we finished the song, there's a lot of producers, a lot of people involved who are extremely protective over his art and everything surrounds DMX. And so that was an interesting thing because everybody who listened to it was like, well, let's see what it is. And everybody's like, oh, okay, this is good. All right, let's. So
sure.
the green light came from that everybody who's involved, from the estate to all the producers, everybody loved the songs. So the song was approved by the community first. And everybody's like, okay, this is great. It is respectful. This is a hit. This is a massive song. And so everybody understands.
Okay.
In that mix, Hype Williams, who was a close friend of DMX and worked on his videos. And in the 90s, if you think about it, every hip hop video that mattered, with respect for all that he didn't do, but everybody wanted a video with Hype.
Dude, he was Tupac, Wu-Tang, everybody. Yeah, pretty cool.
So, and again, I'm a metalhead, but I know this. I saw all those videos, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All those videos. So if anybody who kind of like, go Google this if you don't know, because you're gonna find that all the videos that you know and love, right? If you're hip hop, probably he did it.
Yeah, he's super talented. Super talented.
So we got aligned to Hype, and I hit him up, and we started a conversation, and then sent him the track. And Hype called me back probably. I think the song is about 3 minutes and 20 seconds long, and I think he called me in 3 minutes and 21 seconds. Sent the song, and literally I could tell like he just listened to this, and called me immediately, and he was like, "Bro, I have to do this video. I have to. It's like, you don't understand. Like X was my brother. He was very close to me. I put him in the movie, and the history we were talking about, that the war stories about X and his experience and his friendship with him, and he was like, look, nobody can do this. I have to do this video because this is his legacy, my legacy. This is important that I want to do it. I have to be part of this.
No, I can't wait,
man. He goes like, man, this is gonna be the biggest song of the year. I'm like, well, the audience decides that, but he was super excited. He was super excited. And so from then it came up pretty quickly.
Sure.
So he was literally like, okay, I'm putting together a crew. I'm coming to Vegas. Let's go. Let's do this. I have some ideas how we can make this respectful, and how we make it new. Because he said, like, look, I have a lot of footage of X because obviously I made the movie. I did all these videos. And he was like, but that wouldn't be right. Like, it wouldn't be right because then everybody could do that. Everybody could go back in the past and grab some B-roll or footage that wasn't roll and kind of couple it together. So like it wouldn't be, and you have to remember that Hype is an artist, right?
Yeah.
So he's an artist first. So he has the designer eyes, and so he looks at it like, the video have to be something that wasn't an afterthought. Like, yes, unfortunately X passed, but how do we make it a video anyway that it looks like, not just looks like, but feels like, looks like this is one piece. It wasn't like historical moments pulled out from the past. So he came with a whole, animation and graphics to show us like this is what it's gonna be. and everybody loved it. And so we're like, okay, let's just, here are the rings.
This
Generally,
is
I'm
the way,
happy.
man. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, look, all the videos, like it's a wrong side of heaven. All those videos, like, you know, I write the treatments. And
Oh, of course,
some of them,
yeah.
like Ivan wrote Judgment Day, or that's Ivan, he wrote that treatment. But you know, how that works, like I write this out by the second. Like in this second, under this line, this has to happen.
Wow.
Because
Wow.
yeah, because you have to have the impact. You have to the video is a narration of the music, but then if you do a good enough video, then the music becomes the narration of the video. If it's a good enough video, see what I mean?
Sure,
and
sure.
So that sort of flips. And so I write it out by time code, like right here in this moment, this is what I want to see. So that's usually how our past videos work. This was the first time I just handed the reins to Hype, man.
Yeah.
It's all you, whatever it is you want to do. So, you know,
I got this feeling that it turned out probably how you wanted it to, though. I'm sure it's awesome.
I'm waiting for the final cut like everyone else. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like he's an artist, you know, it's kind of the thing, like I'm sitting on needles. It didn't bother him. Like, just do your thing, man. Just do your thing.
Come on, man.
He sends me these snippets, but not the whole thing, because again, he's an artist and he's kind of the guy, like, look, I don't want to present it until it's here it is.
Sure.
It's not an idea. So he sent me some snippets and bits and pieces and animations of what's where, but I'm sitting on needles like everyone else. So at this moment, you know, by the time you guys see this video that this interview, it's gonna be out there. But
so let's segue, man, because I can't wait for this. This is the way. DMX, Five Finger Death Punch together, fantastic. Like I said, collaboration. So it's gonna be in your ear holes all summer and moving forward. You guys are really gonna dig it. But are you gonna play that song live? I mean, you guys are obviously going on tour here again. You're on the road with Metallica, and that's a continued thing here through the spring, I believe, through the summer. I think you guys are heading back to Europe. Are you not in sometime in May?
Yes. So in May 19, we're shipping out, going to England. First show is the Wembley Arena.
Okay.
And so I think it's the 22nd or something like that, 21st, 22nd of May.
23rd, I think, actually, in London.
Oh, yeah, May, yeah, okay. So see, you know my schedule better. So yeah. So I just know that we're shipping out on the 19th. Yeah. So and then the whole European tour runs. That a lot of them are headlines and festivals, and then we have I think 6 Metallica shows in there. Those are stadiums.
Sure.
And then we're coming back home. We have a couple of weeks off in August. We're going on the next tour with Manson. So gonna be busy here. Yeah.
That's pretty rad, man. The shows with Metallica, have they been everything you wanted them to be? I mean, I know this was kind of a great match as well, you know, with Lars and you guys, you know, kind of chatting like, hey, we should go on the road once. We should, you know, and it happens, you know. What's that been like for you, being on that stage in front of new faces, for sure, new ears?
That was interesting because we never really crossed paths with Metallica, which is, you know, kind of strange. And it was funny because Lars kind of pointed out, like, man, it's been how many years? Like, this Five Finger Death Punch is around literally about 19 years, somewhere in there, and we never crossed paths, you know. And so he was like, you know what, let's do something. And at that point, everybody's like, man, that would be cool. But then it happened. You know, that was a pretty cool moment when we got the call, like, hey, Metallica is actually serious about this. Let's do something, right? Well, look, the first thing that happened on the Metallica tour is that they sent us the stage plot. And that moment was like, oh, crap, this is like a giant donut in the center of the arena, right? And it's like, as a performer, you perform a specific way.
Sure.
Right? Like for example, Five Finger Death Punch in a band, we have this thing where it's an unspoken rule, you know, we just do it naturally, but that's what we do. When you're standing on stage, you project energy, right? And, you know, obviously Charlie's in the back drumming, but the four of us on the front line, we kind of hold down certain sections of the arena. So at all times, everybody's getting attention.
You can connect,
right? Yeah. So, you know, if Ivan is on the right, I'm running to the left, you know, projecting, and other guys are watching who's where, you know. So it's every time, no part of the arena being, you know, ignored. So that's the projection.
Yeah.
Now, we're doing that for 2 decades almost, right? And before that, we did that in other bands. And all of a sudden, you're in this circle stage, and everybody's around you, and there are people inside the donut, in the snake pit. So now that you kind of lose that, well, where do we project? You know, you lose the front line. right? Like it's almost like, you know, you're an army and you're progressing, right?
Mm-hmm,
Now you're surrounded and you have to fight
wow.
people directly. It's a whole
Yeah.
different story. So
Yeah.
for a moment that was like, holy crap, how are we gonna do this, right? And that, which that was a concern, you know, like
Yeah.
man, you know, and we walked out on that stage, and that by the end of the first song, we were just looking at you like, all right, we got
This is
this.
cool.
Right? This is
Yeah.
cool. But man, it's
But,
a giant stage, you
mm-hmm.
know. I don't have to go to the gym because just run around one time in that
Get
stage.
your
Listen, I'm a
cardio.
track runner, man. Like you could time me at this point. You know
Sure.
what I mean?
That's awesome, man. I can't wait for the show. Obviously, you guys are playing US Bank Stadium August, so kind of towards the back end. But dude, I'll finally get to see this. And hopefully I get to connect with you guys that night a little bit too and hang out a little bit. But dude, it's been so great talking to you. You know I love talking to you. You and I have done this many, many times over the
Right.
years, and we'll continue to. So there's so much going on with Death Punch. You guys get into you know, everything that's going on at fivefingerdeathpunch.com too. And the Afterlife, the digital deluxe download, that is next Friday. That's out. DMX, This Is the Way. There's acoustic tracks on there. And then you guys are on tour with Manson and Metallica. Lots going on, man.
Right.
So
Right.
thank you for your time today, brother. I
Thank you.
appreciate
Good
it.
to see
And we'll
you,
catch
brother.
up really soon. Yeah. Take
All
care,
right,
dude.
sounds good. All right,
All right, man.
brother.
Later.